Hello, today we'll be talking about divider, and that is should be a really quick widget to cover. So anyway, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new section again with one column. So this is, as you can see, this is a section, and that is a column. So one column. So now I'm going to insert the divider. So just in case you kind of wonder what that is, uh, it's basically a line, and that line will separate between the content on the top and the content on the bottom. So let me give you a little context on how it's going to look on your website. So let's say if I'm going to click, hold, and drag this thing on the top, as you can see right now it's random pictures. So I'm going to click that, and let's say I'm just going to choose this picture, and then I'm going to click this button right here. As you can see, that's an image. And then let's say if, below the divider, I'm going to add a text editor. So I'm just going to click, hold, and drag, and I'm going to put it over here. So as you can see, it has a default text to begin with, but and we're going to leave it as it is now because this is just a demo. So basically, that's what divider is. So and it separate between the content on the top, content on the bottom, give you a little nice separation, and it's easy for the eye so that you can actually differentiate between content. So now we're going to talk about how to style this thing or change the layout. So as you can see here right now it says solid. You can actually change it to a different type. As you can see, if you change it to double, let's say if you change it to dots, it becomes dots. It's little dots that we have here. So let's say if I want a curly, as you can see, so if you want it to be a little pretty, you can do that too. You can also do curve, as you can see. So basically that's what divider is. And if you can play around with this if you are in the system. So I'm gonna put it back to solid. Now the width is pretty obvious. Right now it's set up to 100 and it's set up to percentage. So it's 100%. It goes all the way from left to the right. Now, let's say if you want to change it, you know what? You don't want it to be full width. You want it to be half width. So half width. So let's say let me put 50%. As you can see, it's 50%. But now it's lined up to the left because that's the default alignment. So that's the reason why you want to go to the alignment, and then you want to click center. As you can see, now it's center. You can also change it to right as if you wanted to, as you can see. So, but if by default it should go to the left, but you can either click left or you can just click it again. As you can see, none of these is highlighted and it's automatically on the left. But anyway, I'm just gonna put it back to the center. And now you can also add element. What is element? So element is something that's usually something that you add in the middle of the divider. So let's say if I want to add a text, I can type in, text 1, 2, 3. As you can see, you have a divider, and then you have a text right in the middle. You can put anything you like, and so by typing it over here, you can also change it to an icon. So let's say if I go to icon, as you can see, it becomes a star, and you can also change it to something else. So let's say you don't want a star, you want something else. So let's say you want let's say a store like what we have here. So I'm gonna click insert. As you can see, now it becomes a store. And okay, so now that we have covered most of the things on the left side under content, let's go to style and see how much further you can edit the divider. So right now by default the color is black, but you can change it to, let's say, anything you like, maybe like red. As you can see, it becomes red, blue, yellow. As you can see, you can it's pretty much obvious at this point. And let's say if you don't like the color and you want to go back to the original color, you can also click clear, the button right here. and it will revert back to the original, as you can see. Now width would be considered as the thickness of the line. So right now the default is 1, but you can also change it to, let's say, as you can see, as I increase, you can see the thickness increases. So, and I think it can go as far as 10, and that's the furthest you can go. But usually I'll leave it alone because 1 or 2 or 3 maybe good enough. As you can see, it's you can play around with that if you like. Now, okay, let's go talk about the gap. Gap would be the distance between the top area of the divider and the bottom area of the divider. So let's say if now it's default 15, let's say if I double that, as you can see, it increases by double. So that's what it is. I think 30 will be a good distance because it gives the separation between the top and the bottom content. And now let's go talk to the let's mention icon. Icon is what we have here. Since we selected icon previously, now this icon option on the style shows up. So right now you have a view default. You can change it to stack. As you can see, now it becomes you know, like a box. You can also change it to frame, as you can see. So you can change it anything you like. So, but now we just gonna put it back to default. If you notice, if you go to stack or frame, you have another few options that we have. We're actually gonna talk about it right now. So let's go back to, yeah, stack. I think stack would be a good starting point because it's basically the same kind of you know, options that are available. So the size, you can obviously, that's what it is. You can change the size if you want it bigger or smaller. And let's say the padding. Padding would be the distance between the actual icon and the outer layer of the border. So as you can see, like if I change the, as you can see, if I just say 1 or 2, there's almost no padding whatsoever. But as I increase it, so that's what it does. But let's say if I want to go back to the original, it's simple. Just double click this to highlight it, and then press delete or backspace. So as you can see, there's nothing here. It just disappeared, and it goes back to the original. Now you got a primary color of gray as we have here. I can change it to blue, as you can see, and so forth. Secondary color will be the secondary color that you have. So I'm guessing most likely it will happen right here. So right now it doesn't have any color, so basically it's transparent. But now I'm gonna change it to red. So as you can see, it changes the color. And this option is only available when you choose stack or frame. It's not available when you click default because there's only one color. As you can see, if I do it, see it's all gone. So it went back, but I'm gonna go back to stack. And then anyway, you have the position between left, right, as you can see, in conjunct, you know, in relative to the divider. So, but by default, it's center. Or I can just click it again to disable it, and basically it's automatically centered. Spacing would be kind of like, I'm assuming it will be right here last time I checked. So as you can see, if it's 0, there is no spacing whatsoever. It's touching. But if I increase it, the gap widens. And this is the cute thing, you can actually do rotate. You can rotate the icon if you want to give it a little bit more edge. If you say, you can do that too. So that's what it does. Now border radius will be something that I will consider as kind of like a smoothing out the edges. So now it's kind of like a very hard cut between, you know, horizontal and vertical lines. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna increase it a little bit. As you can see, it becomes soft then. So that's what the border radius done. And so now before I conclude this presentation, let me go back to the content. And instead of using icon here, I'm going to change it to text. So it's going to go back to that text 1, 2, 3 again. And then I'm going to go back to style, as you can see. And now instead of icon, you have text. Now we have a different set of options for the text because, well, it's no longer an icon. So if I click the color, obviously you can change it to, let's say, purple, green if you like. So, and if you don't like that color, you can always click clear over here. So you can always go back to the original. And typography, let's say, basically is typical. If you want to change the font style, you can kind of choose, click that default, and then it will open up a drop down. You can choose any kind of font you like, as you can see. And then you can change the position as well. So this is actually very similar to what we previously have on the icon section, and but with slightly different twist. Now, and the last part would be spacing. Spacing, as you can see, if I put the spacing into 0, it literally touches the text, kinda almost. But as you increase it, there will be the gap. So anyway, that concludes the overview of Divider plugin, Divider widget. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it down in the comment down below. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribe, click like, and share it to your friends. Have a nice one. Peace out.